The garage door was wide open when I pulled into my driveway that Tuesday morning. That's what hit me first. In 40 years of marriage, Pat never left that door open. Not once. And I sure as hell didn't leave it open when I went to the hardware store. I sat in my pickup truck for a minute, staring at that empty space where her 1969 Camaro SS should have been. 20 years she spent on that car. Every weekend, out there in the garage with her hands covered in grease, rebuilding that engine piece by piece, said it was going to be our retirement road trip car. We were supposed to drive Route 66 next spring. But Pat's been gone 8 months now. Cancer got her. My name's Ron Henderson, I'm 67, and this is the story of how my dead wife saved our family from the biggest mistake of our lives. I got out of the truck and walked to the garage. The oil stain was still there on the concrete floor, dark and permanent from years of Pat working under that hood. Everything else was exactly like she left it. Her tools hung on the pegboard, each one outlined in black marker, so she'd know where everything belonged. Her work journal sat open on the workbench, pages filled with her precise handwriting, documenting every bolt, every gasket, every modification. But the car was gone. My chest felt tight. I pulled out my phone and called Greg. "Hey Dad, what's up? Where's your mother's car?" Silence on the other end, then a sigh. "I was going to tell you tonight, Amanda and I sold it yesterday." "You what?" "We needed the money, Dad. Amanda's been planning this Paris trip for months. It's important for her real estate business, networking, you know, making connections with international clients. I couldn't let her down." I sat down on Pat's work stool, the same one she'd used when she was adjusting the carburetor linkage or fine-tuning the timing. "That was your mother's car, Greg. It was just sitting there collecting dust. You don't even drive it. I got $15,000 for it. That's good money for a car that owed $15,000. For a documented 1969 Camaro SS with a numbers matching 396 big block. Pat had every receipt, every part number, every restoration step documented in that journal. She'd built that engine herself, balanced and blueprinted. The paint was show quality. The interior was perfect. She'd restored it to better than factory condition. "You should have asked me first." "Come on, Dad. Would you have said yes?" "No, then what's the point? Look, Dad, Amanda and I are trying to build something here. We leave for Paris tomorrow morning. Can't you just be happy for us?" "Mom's gone. She's not coming back to drive that car," I heard Amanda in the background. "Tell him we'll send postcards from the Eiffel Tower." Greg hung up. I sat there in the empty garage holding Pat's journal. Her last entry was dated 3 weeks before she died. Almost finished with the final detailing. Can't wait to show Ron what we built together. Our golden years are going to be something special. Maybe we'll drive this beauty to that little diner in Sedona where he proposed. I closed the journal and set it back exactly where she'd left it. The garage still smelled like motor oil and that orange hand soap Pat used to clean her hands. I could almost hear her humming while she worked, could almost see her bent over the engine bay with that focused expression she got when she was solving a mechanical puzzle. I locked up the garage and went inside. The house felt too quiet. Pat's coffee mug was still in the sink where I'd left it this morning. I hadn't been able to bring myself to put it in the dishwasher. Same routine every day for 8 months now. The phone rang at 7 a.m. the next morning. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. "Mr. Henderson, this is Nick Collins from Collins Classic Auto. Your son brought in a Camaro yesterday. I need you to come down here right now if you can. There's something your wife wanted you to see. I don't understand. Sir Pat was a friend of mine. Good friend. She helped save my business when the bank was trying to foreclose. I was at her funeral, back row. I should have introduced myself then, but I couldn't. She made me promise something before she died, and I need to keep that promise. Can you come?" I remembered him now. Guy in the back row at the service. Didn't stay for the reception. Pat had mentioned helping someone with a loan restructure when she worked at the bank. "What kind of promise? I can't explain it over the phone. Please, Mr. Henderson, this is important." Collins Classic Auto was on the industrial side of town, between the railroad tracks and the old steel mill that shut down in '98. I found Nick waiting outside, mid-60s, gray hair, wearing coveralls with his name stitched over the pocket. He looked like he hadn't slept. "Your wife saved my business 10 years ago, he said, as we shook hands. Bank was foreclosing on this place. I had the dream, but not the credit score. Pat worked in commercial lending then, remember? She found a way to restructure my loan when nobody else would even return my calls. I owe everything to that woman. He led me through the front office and into the shop. 3 cars sat under covers in the main bay. The overhead fluorescents hummed and flickered. Nick walked to the 3rd car and pulled back the cover. There was Pat's Camaro, gleaming under the harsh lights. Burgundy paint so deep it looked like you could reach into it. Chrome bumpers reflecting the ceiling lights. The rally wheels she'd spent hours polishing by hand. Every detail perfect. I walked over and put my hand on the hood. The metal was cool and smooth. It still smelled like her garage, motor oil and leather cleaner, and that special wax she used on the paint. Your son had no idea what he was selling. Nick said quietly, asked me if $15,000 was a fair price. I told him this car's worth $180,000. Maybe more. The number hit me like a sledgehammer. What? It's a documented Z28. Numbers matching, frame-off restoration. Your wife did museum-quality work. Look at this paint job. She wet-sanded between every coat. This engine bay is cleaner than most factory photos. I paid him the $15,000 because he seemed desperate. But Mr. Henderson, this car was never mine to keep. I opened the driver's door and sat in the bucket seat. The black vinyl was perfect. Not a crack anywhere. Pat had restitched every seam herself. The dashboard gleamed, every gauge rebuilt and recalibrated. The Hurst shifter she'd installed sat between the seats like a work of art. There's something else, Nick said. He walked around to the passenger side. Pat asked me to install something about 6 months before she got sick. A hidden compartment. Made me swear that if anything happened to her and someone sold this car, I'd call you immediately. He showed me how to release a hidden panel behind the radio. Press here. Pull there, twist this chrome knob. The radio face swung away on concealed hinges. Behind it was a space about the size of a shoebox lined with black felt. Inside was a manila envelope with my name written in Pat's careful handwriting. Underneath that, a smaller envelope marked "You are Jint, open first." At the bottom was a small metal box with a key taped to the lid. My hands shook as I opened the urgent envelope. Pat's voice seemed to speak from the page. "Ron, if Nick is showing you this, then Greg made a terrible mistake. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you while I was alive, but I needed to protect both of you until I had solid proof. I've been investigating Amanda for over a year. She's not who she says she is, and she's not the first woman to target our family's assets." I looked up at Nick. He was studying his boots, giving me space to absorb this. The letter continued. "Her real name is Sandra Walsh. I found marriage records in Arizona and Florida. She's done this exact thing twice before. Kevin Phillips in Phoenix, Danny Parker in Tampa. The pattern is always the same. She targets men with aging parents and substantial assets, gets them to sell family property to fund her lifestyle, then disappears with the money." My throat felt dry. "Amanda's been asking questions about this house, about whether I've thought of downsizing. The key opens our safety deposit box at First Bank, box 247. I put some documents in there, and some stock certificates from that little tech company I helped get started in 1995. Check what TechCore Solutions is worth now. You're going to need financial resources to fight what's coming." I stood up too fast and had to grab the car door for balance. 24 years Pat worked at that bank. She knew how these scams operated, had probably seen families destroyed by them. And she'd been building a case against Amanda while fighting cancer. "There's more," Nick said. He handed me the larger manila folder. Inside were photographs. Amanda in different wedding dresses with different men. Marriage certificates with various names. Bank statements showing large cash withdrawals right after property sales. Newspaper clippings about fraud investigations. She contacted the previous victims about 6 months ago, Nick continued. Pat had been in touch with them. They're willing to testify about the pattern. Kevin Phillips lost his mother's house in Phoenix, $280,000. Danny Parker's family auto repair shop in Tampa, $95,000. Same method both times. I stared at a photo of Amanda cutting a wedding cake with a gray-haired man who wasn't Greg. She looked exactly the same. Same smile, same dress style, same pose. Like she'd done this so many times it was routine. Pat had a contact at the FBI, Nick said. White-collar crime division, agent named Joe Martinez. He's been tracking Sandra Walsh across state lines, building a federal case. Why didn't she tell me? She was protecting you and protecting Greg. She knew he wouldn't believe it without ironclad evidence. Love makes people blind sometimes. I thought about the past year. Amanda's comments about my memory. How I seemed tired, how this house was too much responsibility for someone my age, how Greg worried about leaving me here alone. She'd been laying groundwork. What's the timeline? Nick consulted a notebook from his shirt pocket. Based on the previous cases, she'll escalate concerns about your mental state over the next few months. Find the perfect assisted living facility. Convince Greg it's for your own safety. Then push for a quick house sale to cover the costs. My house is paid off, worth about $320,000. That's her target. Combined with whatever else she can access from your accounts, she's looking at a 400,000 score minimum. I closed the folder and leaned against the Camaro. Pat had fought cancer and a con artist at the same time. Spent her final months trying to protect us from something we couldn't even see coming. There's one more thing, Nick said. Joe Martinez has been monitoring her credit card activity. She's been living way beyond what Greg's construction salary can support. Designer shopping, expensive restaurants, luxury hotel bookings, all charged to cards in Greg's name that he probably doesn't know about. How much debt? Last report showed $32,000 in revolving credit. Your son makes about $65,000 a year as a foreman. There's no way they can service that kind of debt on his income. The pieces clicked together. The sudden need for cash, the Paris trip, the casual way she dismissed selling the car. Amanda was funding a lifestyle that required constant infusion of money, and she was setting up Greg to provide it by liquidating family assets. I need to see Joe Martinez. He's expecting your call. Nick handed me a business card, but Mr. Henderson, there's something you need to understand. Greg has to discover this truth himself. If you just tell him, she'll convince him you're jealous or paranoid or getting senile. The evidence has to lead him to the conclusion I understood. After 40 years of marriage, I knew how persuasive a woman could be when a man was head over heels. Greg thought Amanda hung the moon. He'd defend her against anyone, even his own father. What do? We build the case, document everything. When she makes her next move, we're ready. I drove straight to First Bank from Nick's shop. The safety deposit box key felt heavy in my pocket. The bank manager, Mrs. Chen, remembered Pat from her years working there. She walked me down to the vault personally. Box 247 opened with a soft click. Inside were more documents, but what caught my eye were the stock certificates in a protective sleeve. A letter from Pat was clipped to the front. Ron, I bought these shares in 1995 as a favor to a customer whose son was starting a computer company. Gave him $5,000 when nobody else would invest. The customer died 2 years later, and I honestly forgot about these certificates until I was organizing our financial records last year. Look up TechCore Solutions. You're going to be shocked. Mrs. Chen helped me research the company on her computer. Her expression changed as the numbers loaded. Mr. Henderson, TechCore went public 3 years ago. These shares are currently valued at approximately $425,000. I gripped the edge of her desk. Pat had left me more money than we'd saved in 40 years of marriage. Enough to fight Amanda and her lawyers. Enough to protect our family's future. There's more, Mrs. Chen said softly. Your wife came in 6 months ago, set up a separate account with instructions that only you could access it. She deposited $50,000 from the sale of some other investments. Pat had been preparing for war while I thought she was just getting her affairs in order before the cancer treatments intensified. I met Joe Martinez that afternoon at Mickey's Diner on Route 9, former Detroit police detective, now federal investigator specializing in financial fraud. He had the weathered look of someone who'd seen too much but still cared enough to keep fighting. Pat was one of the smartest people I ever worked with, he said over coffee and apple pie. She understood how these romance scams operate better than most law enforcement. Probably because she'd seen the financial aftermath at the bank. Joe spread out surveillance photos on the sticky table. Amanda at high-end boutiques, expensive restaurants, luxury hotels, all charged to credit cards Greg didn't know existed. She's been living a double life for 18 months. Your son thinks they're broke, saving for the future. Meanwhile, she's burning through $3,000 a month on designer everything. The Paris trip alone cost $15,000 hotels, first-class flights, Michelin-starred restaurants. How's she paying for it? Credit applications in Greg's name. Forged signatures using his social security number and employment information. She's built up $47,000 in total debt across 8 different cards. Joe showed me printed statements, Greg's name on every account. But Amanda's spending patterns, cash advances, luxury purchases, travel expenses. She's also been researching your financial situation. Property tax records, Medicare statements, bank account activity. She knows exactly what you're worth. What's her timeline? Based on Kevin Phillips and Danny Parker's experiences, she'll start the memory care push within 60 days. She's already been testing the waters with comments about your age and cognitive function. I thought about dinner conversations over the past months. Amanda asking if I'd taken my medications, commenting when I misplaced my keys, suggesting I seemed confused about dates or appointments. The previous victim said it was gradual. Joe continued. Starts with innocent concern, builds to serious worry, culminates with finding the perfect facility that just happens to cost exactly what your house is worth. When do they get back from Paris? Flight lands Thursday morning. She'll let Greg decompress for a few days, then start phase 2 of the operation. Joe pulled out a legal pad covered in handwritten notes. Pat documented every suspicious interaction for the past year. Dates, times, witnesses when possible. Amanda asking about your health, your house, your financial planning. Building a case that you're becoming a danger to yourself. What about the previous husbands? Will they testify? Kevin Phillips is eager to help. His mother died in that memory care facility, still asking when she could go home. Danny Parker lost his father's auto repair business, 40 years of work gone. They want to see Amanda held accountable. Can we stop her before she hurts Greg? That's the tricky part. She hasn't technically committed a crime here yet. The credit card fraud is borderline. She could claim Greg authorized the accounts. Until she actually attempts to steal your assets, we're limited in what we can do legally. Joe leaned across the table. But here's what we can do. Document everything. Record conversations when possible. Build an ironclad case for when she makes her move. And most importantly, help Greg see the truth for himself. How? You're going to play along. Act like the concerned old man she thinks you are. Let her believe the plan is working, but we'll be watching every step, gathering evidence. The next few days crawled by. I installed the security cameras Joe recommended. Called my lawyer to update my will and put additional protections on the house deed. Most importantly, I practiced acting confused and vulnerable. Greg and Amanda returned Thursday evening. I invited them for Sunday dinner, played the part perfectly. Made pot roast, Greg's favorite since he was 10. Set the table with Pat's good china. Amanda looked different. Expensive haircut, designer clothes I'd never seen before, jewelry that probably cost more than my truck payment. She glowed with the confidence of someone who'd been living the high life. Paris was incredible. She gushed over dinner. The hotels, the restaurants, the shopping. Greg spoiled me completely. Greg looked tired despite the vacation. Stress lines around his eyes that hadn't been there before the trip. He kept checking his phone, frowning at text messages. You should think about traveling, Dad, he said. See Europe while you're still able to enjoy it. Still able. Like I was already halfway to the nursing home, maybe someday. This house keeps me pretty busy. Amanda seized the opening. You know, Ron, Greg and I were talking about that. This place is really too much for one person. All these stairs, the big yard to maintain. What if you fell and nobody found you for hours? I manage okay, of course you do, but accidents happen. Remember last month when you forgot about our dinner plans? Greg was worried sick. Dinner plans I'd never made, but I played along, looking embarrassed and confused. I don't remember that, see? That's exactly what concerns us. Amanda reached across the table and patted my hand. Maybe it's time to consider somewhere with more support. Just for peace of mind. After they left, I called Joe immediately. She's starting, right on schedule. How did you handle it? Played the forgetful old man. She bought it completely. Good. Tomorrow morning, drive to Sunset Manor. That assisted living place on Elm Street. I guarantee she'll suggest it within the week. 2 weeks later, Amanda called with exciting news. She'd found the perfect solution to my situation. Sunset Manor had an opening, and they specialized in residents with early memory concerns. The monthly fee was exactly $8,500. It's really quite lovely, she explained over the phone. Private rooms, gourmet meals, 24-hour medical staff. You'd have so much more peace of mind knowing you're safe. I don't know, Amanda. This is my home, of course it is, but Greg and I are thinking long-term. What if something serious happened? This house is worth about $320,000, right? If we sold it, the proceeds would cover Sunset Manor for years. There it was, the exact figure Joe had predicted. I need to think about it, naturally. But don't wait too long. Good facilities fill up quickly, especially ones that accept residents with cognitive issues. Cognitive issues. She was already rewriting my medical history that evening. Greg called separately. Dad, I know this is hard to hear, but Amanda and I are really worried about you. You seem more forgetful lately, more confused about things like what? Last week you asked me the same question 3 times during one conversation, and Amanda said you seemed lost when she was explaining the assisted living option. I hadn't asked any question 3 times, and Amanda had deliberately used complex terminology to make me appear confused, but Greg sounded genuinely concerned. Maybe I should get a medical evaluation first. That's a great idea. Amanda already researched some specialists. We can schedule something next week. After he hung up, I called Jo immediately. She's accelerating the timeline. Found a doctor who'll probably diagnose me with early dementia based on her testimony. We expected this time to spring our trap. Jo had been monitoring Amanda's digital footprint. Her laptop browsing history showed extensive research into Costa Rica real estate, international banking, and one-way flight prices. She'd also been communicating with someone named Miguel Rodriguez about property investments in San Jose. She's planning her exit strategy, Jo explained. Probably has an escape route mapped out for when the house sale finalizes. What's our move? Tomorrow morning, call Greg. Tell him you need to discuss something important about Amanda. Give him Kevin Phillips's number in Phoenix and Danny Parker's number in Tampa. Tell him Pat left you some concerns before she died and you think he should hear their stories directly. He'll think I'm being paranoid, maybe, but he'll also be curious, and once he talks to those men, he'll start asking Amanda questions she can't answer. I made the call the next morning. Greg agreed to come over, but he brought Amanda with him despite my request to talk alone. They sat across from me at the kitchen table where Pat and I had shared 40 years of morning coffee. Dad, what's this about? Greg looked tired. More stress lines, dark circles under his eyes. I handed him the folder Nick had given me. Your mother left me some information before she died about Amanda. Amanda's face went very still, but her voice stayed calm. What kind of information, Ron? Photos, marriage certificates, contact information for her previous husbands. Greg opened the folder reluctantly. I watched his expression change as he saw the wedding photos, the different names on the marriage licenses. This could be anybody with the same name, he said, but his voice lacked conviction. Call them, I said, sliding the paper with phone numbers across the table. Kevin Phillips in Phoenix, Danny Parker in Tampa. Ask them about their wives. This is ridiculous, Amanda said sharply. Greg, your father is clearly having some kind of episode. This is exactly the kind of paranoid thinking that indicates cognitive decline. But Greg was staring at a photo of Amanda cutting cake with a gray-haired man in Arizona. When was this taken? 2019, I said quietly. 2 years before she met you. Amanda stood up abruptly. I don't have to listen to this, Greg. We're leaving. Sit down. Greg said without looking up from the photos. His voice had gone cold. Explain this. They're obviously fake. Probably photoshopped. Your father is having delusions. Greg pulled out his phone and dialed Kevin Phillips' number. Put it on speaker. Mr. Phillips? This is Greg Henderson. I'm calling about your ex-wife, Sandra Walsh. She's been using the name Amanda Henderson. The voice that came through the phone was weary, resigned. I wondered when this call would come. What do you want to know? Everything. Kevin Phillips told his story. His mother's house, the memory care facility, the $280,000 that disappeared when Sandra vanished. Greg's face got paler with every detail. Amanda bolted for the door when Greg started dialing Danny Parker's number. I blocked her path, moving kind of fast for someone who's innocent, I said. Danny Parker's story was worse. His father's auto repair shop, 40 years of work sold to fund Sandra's lifestyle. Same pattern, same methods, same devastating result for the family. When Greg hung up, his hands were shaking. The credit cards, those statements I've been getting. You opened accounts in my name. Amanda's mask finally slipped completely. You're pathetic, all of you, Kevin, Danny, you, weak men who can't provide for the women they claim to love. How much? Greg's voice was barely a whisper. 47,000 and change. Though I suppose that's academic now. She looked at both of us with pure contempt. 3 years I invested in this family. 3 years of pretending to care about your boring jobs and your dead wife's stupid car. Greg lunged for her. I caught his arm, held him back. Not worth it, son. Joe Martinez walked through the front door right on cue. He'd been listening from the kitchen. Sandra Walsh, you're under arrest for identity theft, wire fraud, and conspiracy to commit elder abuse. The federal charges included fraud across state lines, forged financial documents, and conspiracy to steal assets from elderly victims. The evidence Pat had gathered, combined with Joe's surveillance, created an airtight case. Sandra took a plea deal. 12 years federal prison, restitution to all victims, and registration as a financial predator. Greg's credit was restored through fraud claims. The marriage was annulled since Sandra had used a false identity. Greg moved back home while the legal proceedings wrapped up. Some days were harder than others. Guilt, anger, embarrassment. He cycled through all of it. But slowly he started healing. We spent Sunday mornings working on Pat's Camaro. Greg learned the difference between a 396 and a 454, how to gap spark plugs, why Pat had chosen that particular carburetor. The car became our bridge back to each other. 6 months later, I took him for that first real drive in the finished restoration. Down Route 9 toward the lake, windows down, that big block rumbling like distant thunder. Pat would have loved seeing her boys together in the car she'd built. Think she knew? Greg asked as we pulled back into the garage. About Sandra, I mean. Your mother was always 3 steps ahead of the rest of us, I said. She knew what mattered. Family, protection, making sure the people you love are safe. We stood there in the garage, surrounded by Pat's tools, breathing in the smell of motor oil and old leather. The Camaro sat in its rightful place, gleaming under the fluorescent lights. That's my story. A con artist nearly destroyed our family, but Pat's love and preparation saved us. Sometimes the people we love find ways to keep protecting us, even from the grave. Men, listen to me. If something feels off about a new person in your family's life, trust that instinct. Do your homework, ask questions, protect what you've built, and remember, the people who really love you will always have your back, whatever it takes. Don't let pride or embarrassment stop you from fighting for your family. You're never too old to stand up for what's right.